The business was started in 1977 by my parents, Paddy and Mary. Then we did our own sort of mining product spare parts, our own manufactured and designed products. We had a choice to make. We came to a fork in the road. What were we going to do with the business? Did we have the ambition to really grow it, or did we want to sell it, or what did we want to do? So the decision at the time was that we would grow it. So that's been largely successful. Our run rate now has been taken to over 110 million a year, and good profitability. What's our vision? Our vision is to be the driller's choice in the rock drilling industry. And when we talk about the rock drilling industry, we talk about mining, we talk about mining exploration, we talk about construction drilling. We drilled foundations. It would be directional drilling, which is trenchless installation of services like fiber optic lines, gas lines, water lines. And we talk about water well drilling and geothermal heat pump well drilling. And if you look at the split, it's about 60% mining and mining exploration, 20% construction, 20% water well and geothermal. So our focus is to design faster drilling products. When you design a faster drilling product, that uses less energy. You've got a mine drilling blast holes. Basically what you'll have is you'll have a drill rig, something like this. The power to run that machine comes from a diesel engine, and that burns about 280 litres of diesel per hour when it's operating. So if we can only drill 10% quicker with something like that, that's an enormous saving. If you take that to a mine where they might be using 10 of these drills, drilling 24/7, 10% improvement in productivity is a massive saving in CO2 emissions, in labour, in spare parts, because these things are maintenance intensive. So 10% only that's a big saving. If you can deliver, drilling speeds far in excess of that, well then that's also our desire. We're running a test in a mine in northwestern Australia where they're using 3 of these rigs, and they're drilling. It's a new mine. It's a magnetite iron ore mine. With those rigs drilling with the current technologies, they're drilling about 12 to 14 meters per hour. We've got live test data where we've drilled anywhere from 35 to 45 meters per hour with our new hydraulic hammer concept. That's a disruptor technology, and we can get it drilling with penetration rates which are magnitudes of scale quicker than what they're doing today. We're targeting 3 to 5 times faster. That's what we're targeting. And if you were to take this one mine and take an example of that mine, looking at the drilling that they need to do next year, if all of their drilling next year was done with this hydraulic hammer system, we estimate they'd save about 6 million litres of diesel. Look back at the history and where we are today. We spent over 40 years building the company to give ourselves a platform to introduce disrupting technologies like the hydraulic hammer, like products that we're developing for construction drilling, for large diameter pipe projects, and it's very exciting. And our focus is to constantly push the efficiencies. This mine that they're using our hydraulic hammer, it's a magnetite iron ore mine. Magnetite iron ore, by its nature, is very hard to drill. This mine, when they put the mine in, they spent 12 billion Australian dollars setting it up. Billion. And it's a Chinese company that's done it, CITIC Pacific. And they're doing this, their focus is environmental actually. Doesn't sound like it, but it is environmental, because magnetite iron ore compared to hematite iron ore is cheaper to process. It uses less energy. It's exothermic, it releases heat during processing. The downside of it is it's a hell of a lot harder to drill. So there's a processing challenge that they have to produce the iron ore, which is why we're working with them on the drilling technology. If you look at the technology as it is today, they estimate magnetite iron ore per ton produces, I think it's 108 kilos less CO2 per ton of iron ore. And I think that number is only going to go up if we can bring in technologies like the hydraulic hammer. We're constantly looking for opportunities to, where can we make a more efficient product? Another example would be where in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, we're working with a customer there. They're a piling company, and they're drilling these 1.5 meter diameter rock sockets, they're called. So what they do is they put steel casing down to bedrock, and then they'll drill 4 to 6 meters depth in the bedrock, and then fill that with steel and concrete. So that the pile itself, the support comes from what they're drilling into the rock and the steel cage that they put in filled with concrete. The normal way that they drill those large diameter rock sockets at the moment is a pile boring machine, which you'll probably get about 1 meter per day of penetration. The system that we have is anywhere from 4 to 6 meters per hour of penetration rate. And I believe that there's opportunities to go bigger. Now, it's an energy intensive process to get that sort of penetration rate. So our challenge is to reduce the energy required while still maintaining and increasing the penetration rate. So that's an opportunity. The other issue with drilled foundations is the surrounding structures. So if you think about using a drilling method to drill a pile into the ground, if it disturbs the surrounding foundations of the buildings, that's not a very good situation. And there have been some quite public problems, like in Hong Kong, where they've had subsidence, they've had these sinkholes opening up, and some of the reason for that is because of the construction and piling methods that they were using. So we have a product called our spiral flush product, which uses it minimizes ground disturbance by a factor of 10 times. And that's why they went to use this product in Chesapeake Bay. And they say for every 1 kilowatt of energy you put in to run the system, you get 4 kilowatts of heat energy back out. So that's a 4 to 1. The other issue you have to look into as well is how long it takes you to drill that hole. The speed of drilling that hole is very important. We don't have a high turnover of staff. And our first employee is still with us. The strength of any company is the people that they have. And they can be part of your success, or they can be part of your failure.